Hey everybody, Shavvo here, bringing you a 1 versus 1 match. This is going to be on the map Blistering Sand, and it's going to be against Darkvanger, the red Protoss at the top, and myself, Shavvo, yours truly, the blue spawning here at the bottom, and I am Zerg, of course. What else would I be? And I chose this game because it's a pretty interesting game. I think it'll show you how to deal with a pretty typical proxy. And that is exactly what this little naughty probe is doing. It's going right to the back of the mineral line on my natural expansion, and there it goes, throwing down that probe. Not even on 10 harvesters yet, but he sent his probe out super early, one of his original 6. And this map is pretty typical for something like this to happen, so you want to send an early scout out, and that's exactly what I did, sending my early scout out, and that's pretty much all right now. And I'll notice here that there's nothing up in here in this little area, so I want to move my drone a little bit further up, and I know no pylon, no gateway, nothing. Oh boy, something's up. So that immediately tells me that I'm fixing to get proxied. I need to do something about it right now. I immediately deviate my overlord off from his intended path, and that was just to go straight over here and just check out his base. And I pull him over to this area because this place is a pretty typical place for proxies. This place is a pretty typical place for proxies, and also down here is pretty good for proxies as well. So I get my guy, and I immediately just check my natural expansion, and lo and behold, there it be. So I immediately start throwing down a spawning pool. I threw it down a little bit earlier than what I would like to. I think I threw it down on about 12 or so, and I typically go the Hydra build, and that's 15 gas, 14 pool, and then keep on going based off of that. But I was forced to throw down an early spawning pool because I knew that I was going to have to deal with zealots really early and a little bit earlier than I had wanted to. So we got this first zealot right here waiting for his buddy to come out, and I immediately start throwing down a spine crawler, another spine crawler, start making a queen and a few zerglings. And the income wise, it's not too bad, 12 to 14. I probably need to make a little bit more APM. We're looking at 235 to 22. So I am spamming like crazy. And here come the first 3 zealots. They're going to try and push in. Of course, I am seeing everything. I got my overlord just kind of hovering over there. Overlord seeing this. And I know that I don't have enough zerglings to actually take on this force with 3 zealots right now. So I'm waiting for my spine crawlers to come out of here. I'm going to go around the back of the zealots to get a surround on them, taking my queen, moving my queen in there with them, both of my spine crawlers, pounding around the zealots, and they were not able to get anywhere. This lone zealot over here trying to do some damage takes out 1, 2 zerglings, and then he falls to my double zerglings here, as well as my spine crawler. And I'm just continuing to make more zerglings. Made 1 more drone, so I'm at 13 to 16 right now. And the important thing to do when you get proxied like this is you want to make enough units to deal with the proxy, but you don't want to make too many to where you sacrifice too many drones, and you also want to spread your creep. So you need to make sure to spread your creep. I'm making an extractor right over here, and I've still got my overlord just kind of sitting, hovering over there, seeing everything that he's doing, and you can see that Darkvanger is not really doing anything in his main base. So now he's got a good amount of zealots over here. He's got about 3 zealots, and I'm just moving out with my force just to try and see what I can do. Of course, he is blocking my ramp, not allowing anything to go through, so I'm trying to get a little bit of a run by, but my zergling speed is not yet finished. And I am trying to get a good surround, although 5 zealots is more than enough to take care of this, so I'm going ahead and pulling back to my base over here, making another queen just for spreading creep, making a lot more zerglings so I can deal with this harassment. My second queen just now spawning, and I'm going to use her to pretty much just spread the creep, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's going over there, she's spreading the creep, looking at units right now, 28 zerglings to 5 zealots, income wise 11 to 18, 12 to 18, so I'm not doing so hot as far as income, but I'm still doing somewhat decent, not too bad. Got a good amount of zerglings, 211 on the APM scale, against I guess 32, so he's more of the person that doesn't really spam his APM like I do. I like to spam because it looks cool to the ladies. Got my 2 queens coming over here, spitting up on the hatchery. 13 to 21 on the harvester count, so I'm really sacrificing a lot of my harvesters to make these early zerglings to do a really hard push, and I'm finally pushing down a roach roaring, continuing to keep up that spawn larva on my hatchery. And I'm making a little bit more drones, a couple more drones, and a roach. So I'm now going back into that little bit of a macro mode, as I know that he's not really going to be able to push my base with, especially with all of these, a couple of roaches, a couple queens, and a couple spine crawlers. So I'm sitting pretty, got my creep spread, continuing to spread it out so he can't build anything on this choke here or anything in here. He tries to come in with cannons or anything like that. 16 to 24 as far as the harvester count. He is finally starting to build in there. He is researching warp gate technology, and he is researching zealot leg charge. So he is going to have some pretty powerful zealots here in a minute. He tried to push up and he saw what I had, and he saw that I had a couple of roaches, and I'm building another queen because I was actually expecting void rays on here. I was expecting that he's going to push in with his zealots, and then I'm going to be overrun by some void rays. So what do? Just make a ton of queens. That works. Ton of queens. So now I'm pushing out. I am going to go ahead and take care of this proxy. Just take out all these gateways. See if I can take out this zealot over here. This zealot's running for his life, running like crazy. He's got a trail, but I decided to pull back and just take care of this proxy over here. So now he's in a world of hurt. He is on the back foot now, although he does have a stronger economy than I do. I have more units than him. Let's look at the unit count again. 33 zerglings, 4 roaches, 3 queens, 10 zealots. Looking at unit production, he's got 3 cannons in the work. He's got a couple of gateways, or 1 gateway and zealot charge still coming in there, and I'm finally starting to research metabolic boost. He's putting some cannons up behind these gateways, so he's making a nice little wall for his cannons just in case I decide to push out, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I want to push out, see what I can do, and I use this time to start building drones now that I have a pretty strong force, 4 roaches, and a ton of zerglings. Now at 24 to 23 on the drone count, our harvester count, 205 the APM to 31 in his. Checking for an expansion here, but I know that he didn't have an expansion because he just does not have the minerals to fund it as of yet, as he sacrificed a lot to get that expansion, although he was ahead of me pretty much the whole game right now. Now I'm moving in, just seeing what he's got, seeing what I can do, if I can do any kind of damage over here. He's got his cannons well placed. I'm trying to get a good surround on some of his probes, trying to kill some of his probes, but I cannot do that, so I decide to pull back, and that gives me a lot of good scouting information. It tells me that his zealots have charge, making a lot more roaches, making a hatchery, decided to go ahead and expand, and he is just chasing down my roaches. My roaches are getting their asses kicked right now. Literally, these zealots are running up behind him and kicking them in their butts.